The Kansas City Chiefs are likely to be without linebacker Nick Bolton in the upcoming season as he hits free agency and will likely be priced out of the Kansas City Chiefs' ability to retain him. So I thought it would be interesting to look at some of the linebackers that are coming up in this draft. And we have just such an article titled Four Defensive Prospects That Stood Out at the NFL Scouting Combine. These NFL draft prospects strengthen their cases to be drafted by the Chiefs in April from Arrowhead Pride by Ron Kopp. I'm only going to outline two of them, the two of them that are linebackers from that article, and then I'm going to throw a third name into the mix at the end. The article itself starts off, the Kansas City Chiefs have a lot of decisions to make this offseason. There is a scenario where the results of free agency lead to defense being the priority of the 2025 NFL Draft. This past weekend, the Chiefs and the NFL community were locked in at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. From Thursday to Sunday, prospects were drilled and tested to provide a more clear picture of this year's class. The Chiefs could be eyeing all positions for defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo. Here are four defensive prospects that stood out this past weekend. Again, we will be only outlining the linebackers here. Linebacker JoeH Campbell from Alabama. Linebacker JoeH Campbell entered the NFL draft prospect process as one of the most intriguing players at his position. At the scouting combine, Campbell measured 6 foot 3 inches tall and 235 pounds. His arm length was measured at 32.5 inches and his hand size was 10.5 inches. Proving he has the build of a modern linebacker, Campbell added impressive athletic testing. He ran the 40-yard dash in 4.52 seconds, tied for the third fastest of any linebacker. His 10-yard split, 1.53 seconds, was also the third fastest mark in his group. Campbell committed to Alabama as a 5-star edge rusher in the 2022 class, but transitioned to play off-ball linebacker by his sophomore year. In 2 years as a starter inside, Campbell produced 184 total tackles, 16 tackles for loss, 5.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions, and 5 passes defended. He was all over the place. He is quick to the ball, aggressive against blocks, and athletic in space. If the Chiefs do not re-sign linebacker Nick Bolton, Campbell could be an elite option to play in the first round. So you see here, 6'3", 32.5-inch arms, 235 pounds, 10.5-inch hands, graded as a 6.34 by NFL.com, will eventually be a plus starter. 4.52 40-yard dash, 1.53 10-yard split with a 10.7 broad jump. Numbers that are so good, honestly, that you kind of wish he had done a little bit more testing. He could have set himself apart even further. The NFL.com website offers Trevin Wallace as an NFL comparison as a comp for JoeH. They say of the Alabama linebacker, Campbell has the build and traits of an Alabama linebacker, but might need to upgrade in some areas. He doesn't play with early instincts or play recognition and is inconsistent in challenging blockers and leveraging his run fits. Campbell uses his speed and athleticism to help mitigate mistakes and get to the football at a relatively high rate. He's rangy, consistent, open field tackler who excels on third downs as a fluid blitzer and impressive cover talent. The elite traits and athletic talent will be tantalizing, but the best way to utilize him might be as a full-time 3-4 rush linebacker, where he can play more proactively instead of reactively as an off-ball linebacker. Now, as far as JoeH Campbell is concerned, is he a good player? Absolutely. Do I want to see the Kansas City Chiefs take him in the first round? Absolutely not. The Kansas City Chiefs roughly play a few seasons ago, they averaged 1.97 linebackers per play, meaning that they had one linebacker on the field a good portion of the time. This last season, they played 2 linebackers quite a bit more than they had in the past, but you're still not seeing all that many 3 linebacker sets from the Kansas City Chiefs. That was with Leo Chenal, Nick Bolton, and Drew Tranquill. So will they be putting 3 linebackers on the field more often? I don't think so, no matter who it is. Now, linebacker is also a tricky sort of position in the NFL draft because it seems one thing can set a guy apart and he really skyrockets up the boards. We never saw that with Leo Chenal. Leo Chenal ended up being a third rounder despite the fact that he had absolutely insane testing numbers, absolutely mad testing numbers. Didn't matter, despite the fact that he had wild tape from college, lining up in the A gap and just smoking offensive guards. Didn't matter. Powerful tackler, blowing up screenplays, all of this didn't matter. Leo Chenal was still there in the third round. Will this be a draft like that? If so, Jihaad Campbell being there in the third round, which I think is unlikely, I just want to make that clear. Would I be all right with the Kansas City Chiefs taking a third linebacker in the third round? Yeah. It's Jihaad Campbell. I think he offers enough athletic upside that he makes it worth the pick. I think he offers enough athletic upside that he would be an upgrade to the Kansas City Chiefs linebacker core in a way that the linebacker core was lacking last year. We saw time and again. So Leo Chenal is big and strong and fast. He struggles in coverage. He does not struggle in coverage as bad, I think, as Nick Bolton did, but he struggles in coverage. Drew Tranquill's supposed to be the guy for that. That said, why would Nick Bolton be on the field all the time last year? If he struggled that bad in coverage and the Kansas City Chiefs were getting picked apart underneath, the Kansas City Chiefs were being torn apart by tight ends all the livelong season, why have him on the field in that situation? It still ended up happening. Replacing Nick Bolton with Jihaad Campbell puts a good deal more of athleticism on the field. I don't know that he's as hard-nosed as Nick Bolton. I don't know that he has the magic ability to just be in the right place at the right time that Nick Bolton had from time to time, picking up fumbles, catching tipped passes, all of these things that Nick Bolton did. I don't know if he's that guy, but he's certainly an athletic, high upside linebacker. The other linebacker that is outlined in the article, Danny Stutsman from Oklahoma, a guy who was long considered to be the number one linebacker in this class, saying the 3-year starter from Oklahoma provides another strong option for the Chiefs' future at middle linebacker. At the scouting combine, linebacker Danny Stutsman measured over 6 foot 3 inches tall and 233 pounds. His arm length was marked at 32 1/8 inches, and his hand was 9 inches. Stutsman tied Campbell for the third fastest 40-yard dash time, 4.52, showing off impressive linear speed for such a physically focused player. Over 4 seasons, Stutsman racked up 376 total tackles, 37 tackles for loss, 8 sacks, and forced 4 fumbles. He also intercepted 3 passes and broke up 8 other throws. Stutsman's all-around ability was backed up by his athletic testing, making him an intriguing prospect for the Chiefs to consider. They have him ranked at a 6.24, will eventually be an average starter, 6'3", 233 pounds, 32 1/8 inch arms, and 9 inch hands. Combine results only did the 40 and the vert, 4.52 40-yard dash, 1.55 10-yard split, 34-inch vertical. Good numbers there. Inside linebacker with size and instincts to post a board full of high totals as a tackler. Stutsman is football smart with studious play recognition to stay one step ahead of blockers. His downhill flow narrows the runner's angles, and he's accomplished at slipping around blockers or sliding off them to tackle. His block take-on needs work, though. He's efficient and productive near the line, but his effectiveness in tackling dips once the play moves into space. Stutsman is an adequate athlete with good size and special teams talent, showing the potential to become a starting inside backer. The problem I have with Stutsman is he's he's Leo Chanel is Stutzman plus. Leo Chanel is bigger. He is stronger. I believe he is faster. I believe Leo Chanel ran a 4.50. Leo Chanel, I believe, had a 40-inch vertical. Leo Chanel did ungodly amounts of reps on the bench press. Stutzman didn't even participate. So I don't know what it is you're getting new to the linebacker room by adding Stutzman that you don't already have in Leo Chanel when you weren't playing Leo Chanel all that much last season. The final name here that I wanted to get in this video is Kane Medrano. Now, we heard a lot of talk in this article about the second fastest 40, the third fastest 40, etc. Well, this was the linebacker, 6'3", 222 pounds, 32-inch arms, 9 1/8 inch hands out of UCLA, who had the fastest 40 with a 4.46 40-yard dash. He is graded out at 5.82 average backup or special teamer by NFL.com. He had a 1.57 10-yard split, which is slow comparatively with those other linebackers for the 4.46 40, a 38-inch vertical, however, and a 10-foot 5-inch broad jump. The 10.5 not as impressive as the 38. 6th-year senior and team captain with 2 years of starting experience, Medrano's long, lean frame is more reminiscent of a strong safety than a linebacker. He plays with good decisiveness to fill up run fits ahead of blocks, but he gets pushed around when they find him. He has average pursuit speed, but above average man cover talent underneath. His missed tackle total is problematic. So he will need to stand out on special teams and as a dime linebacker to offer value as an undersized outside linebacker. Dime linebacker is exactly what it would be that Kane Medrano was drafted for. If this is a guy that's there in the 6th or 7th round, I would not complain about that being the draft pick. As was noted, the Kansas City Chiefs struggled against tight ends, struggled against running backs out of the backfield. That seems to be where Kane Medrano excelled in college. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs lost Willie Gay last offseason, and all of a sudden, the tight end became a problem. The running backs out of the backfield became a problem. Kane Medrano offers the same type of athletic upside, maybe not the athletic profile, but the athletic type of upside that Willie Gay represented in this Kansas City Chiefs defense. Now, the Chiefs have had several linebackers that do have extraordinary physical talents, and it's a matter of whether or not they are the football player that, for example, Willie Gay was. They haven't found that guy yet. Jack Cochran was a player that I was very high on coming out of college. I had no idea about him until the Kansas City Chiefs signed him, so I guess I was high on him coming out of college is not quite true. Once I heard that the Kansas City Chiefs had signed him as an undrafted rookie free agent, I went and did my research, and the guy was very impressive on film. The guy had outstanding physical talents. He looked like a safety. He looked like a big safety on the field. He was able to move like a safety. He was able to run like a safety. He was able to jump like a safety. He got his hands on passes like a safety. Never translated really to the NFL. He got his share of reps. He got his share of special teams time, but it never really translated for Jack Cochran to the base level defense. There's no guarantee that just because a guy's athletic, he becomes a starter. So linebacker, it's easy to compare linebacker and running back because it's tempting to get too carried away with physical traits, and there is too much football to be played for those physical traits to really weigh all that much. You look, for example, at Isaiah Pacheco, 4.37 40-yard dash, 220 pounds, can't hit the home run. Then you look at Kareem Hunt, who had, I believe, a 4.6 40-yard dash, 4.61 40-yard dash. Boy, his rookie and sophomore seasons in the NFL, he was hitting home runs left and right. Didn't matter, just boom, he was gone. And it always looked like players were just about to catch him. Didn't matter. There's too much football being played by a running back, too much football in front of them on the field, too much football in front of linebackers on the field for the athletic stuff to mean too terribly much. So, even if the Kansas City Chiefs were to grab a guy like Medrano in the 7th, maybe he goes undrafted, there's no guarantee that he becomes an actual linebacker in the NFL. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting a like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on the channel, dropping multiple videos every single week, and hope to have you back for the next one.